I do want to focus with you on what's on these extraordinary comments to JK Rowling, one person on Twitter, and I think she's had more than one, but it's certainly the one that she flagged up on her social media over the weekend, saying to JK Rowling, "You're next." Terribly chilling. I mean, okay, you might think, oh, well, people, these are just words. Someone writing that to you after someone has just been almost killed in a frenzied knife attack when you yourself, and she, again, we know has faced threat after threat to kill and rape her and her children, for goodness sake. You're going to take that very seriously. But before we talk about JK, I would like to just talk about Salman Rushdie. People, you may not like Sir Salman Rushdie, you may not have read Satanic Verses or particularly, enjoy his literature, but the importance of an author being able to write about any subject he or she darn well chooses to write is a fundamental part of literature and freedom of expression and our basic human rights in the West, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. And thank you for having me on, because some people may not realise the relevance of this. First of all, everybody was horrified at the terrible attack on Salman Rushdie, and was so, I'm enormously relieved that he appears to be on the road to recovery. And we are talking here about freedom of speech, and the statement that you just read out from the Iranian government representative, that he brought this on himself, is precisely what we're talking about here in terms of freedom of speech. And I'm particularly concerned that freedom of speech is presented as something that only belongs to a certain section of society here. Salman Rushdie lived, as you pointed out, 10 years hiding because of the threats to his life. And you pointed out that JK Rowling, like many other people, reacted in horror to this terrible attack. But I think she was the only person to receive death threats in response. I saw at least 2. And we also receive daily death threats, and these are on Twitter, not taken seriously. And I think that is an important point. We stand up for the rights of lesbians, to say that lesbians don't have penises. That's something that we have a right to say.
Yes. It seems an obvious statement to most of us.
Well, you may think so, but next month, actually, we're going to have to defend our right to have an LGBT organisation in court, because another charity is attacking our charity for saying things that they think are hateful. And nothing that JK Rowling has ever said is hateful, and
yet she's been accused of transphobia and everything else. But this is the crucial thing, isn't it? Likening these two cases, this is all just about freedom of speech, and who gets to decide where your freedom ends. Look, you've got libel laws, and someone, you don't have the right to say, I'm going to kill you because I don't like what you've written or what you've said. That is where we limit free speech. But as far as I'm concerned, that's the point, that's the only limitations that there should be. You can't just say lies about people without facing, court procedures and fines afterwards. But fundamentally, the right to say what you think in a free society, whether it's about trans issues, whether it's about religion, whether it's about anything, a lockdown, whether it's about COVID policy, vaccines, whatever it is. These are such fundamental rights, and yet so many people seem to think that they should be limited.
Yes, well, I mean, on Twitter, which is a global platform to exchange ideas, we may think we live in the UK, but in fact we live in California, because it is in California that all these social media companies are based, and they police the comments that people make on Twitter according to the rules of California, which does not have sex, for instance, as a protected characteristic. In the UK, sex is a protected characteristic. And you will see very often on Twitter, Twitter hates women as a hashtag trending, because women get thrown off, banned for life on Twitter for simply pointing out that is a man playing Irish football on a women's football team. Whereas if a person makes a threat to a woman, even a death threat like this, the death threat against JK Rowling was dismissed by Twitter.
Yeah, it was only when people actually started complaining that the account was suspended. I wish we had longer to discuss. I mean, this is a half-hour conversation, at least, is it not? Maybe probably hours and hours. Bev Jackson, I hope you'll come on again soon, and we'll have more time. Thank you so much for joining us.